Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a brand review on Westman Atelier. This is a brand that I have been looking into for a very long time, especially the foundation. I have heard really great things about the foundation, so I had been wanting to give it a try. Now I went ahead and purchased a lot from the brand. I almost have everything, honestly. And I have been using these products for the past month, really testing them out, see how they best work for me. And today I am ready to share my thoughts on the brand. So Westman Atelier is a clean luxury brand. And when I say luxury, I mean these things are pricey, especially for the amount of product that we get. They're up there in price for sure. Their owner is Gucci Westman. She is a makeup artist. She works with a lot of celebrities. She works with magazines as well. And she does a lot of editorial makeup. Now, don't think editorial like avant-garde, like Pat McGrath style. It's more your look, but better. She really does a great job at enhancing the natural beauty. A few of her celebrity clients are Jennifer Aniston and Gwyneth Paltrow. So I think that'll kind of give you an idea on the type of style that Gucci Westman, does, the type of makeup that she does. The skin always looks so glowy and healthy. The eyes will look nice and sultry, but it's never too much. It never looks too piled on. Same thing with all her glam looks that she does for the red carpet, for magazines. Everything really beautiful. Like I said, just enhancing the natural beauty. And honestly, I'm all about that. So I feel like this line that Gucci Westman created is perfect for someone that's on the go. It is very user friendly, and a lot of them are multitasking products. Overall, I just think it is a really good brand. So at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you guys my top picks from the brand and the few items that I'm just not really feeling. So a little bit about the brand. It is a fast, easy, flawless, safe makeup that makes life simpler. Skin that feels as good as it looks. And it seems like this is her motto, and you kind of will see that with these products, how you have a lot of control with how much you want to apply, what type of coverage you want, how intense you want some of these products. So to me, that's always a huge benefit, because again, you can use things in multiple ways. Their ingredients are phenomenal ingredients, some of which are caper extract, there's organic jojoba oil, Vitis Vita grape extract, Camilla seed oil, berry flux vita, coconut oil, cocoa seed, mango seed, Kapauku butters, and biomimicry technology. I don't really know what that is. Do not be afraid of the coconut oil. So I have very sensitive skin, and a foundation that has coconut oil is the RMS foundation, that one that comes in a little tub. That one I cannot use. I ended up giving it to my sister. I don't even know if it works for her, but she does not have sensitive skin. On me, it broke me out horrendously. And none of these products have done that for me. The foundation is what really has a lot of coconut oil in it, and I have not had any issues. Last week I broke out really bad, but I don't fault the foundation because I had already been using it for nearly 3 weeks before I actually started breaking out like that. And I'm pretty sure that had to do with something else. So I am somebody that normally breaks out easily. Again, I do have very sensitive skin. And that is actually one of the reasons why it took me long to actually try out this foundation, is because I saw it had coconut oil and I was like, I can't do it. But like I said, people have been really raving about it. So I decided to just give it a try and see what it can do for me. Now, some things that these products do not have, remember this is a clean brand, does not have parabens, sulfates, PEGs, phthalates, mineral oils, BHA and BHTs, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I really can't pronounce. There's just a huge list of things. No animal testings and no silicones. Now I do want to point out a few things before we actually get into this, because I don't want to keep repeating myself for each product. So a few things. These are all Very, very easy to apply. Like I said, they're very user friendly. So even somebody that's not very comfortable with makeup, or you're just new to the makeup world, I think all of these products are really easy to use. They blend so easily and you can build all of these up. You have the ability to apply however much you want or you're comfortable with, and it's still going to function really well. And it's also very good for people that are like in a time crunch. Like I said, it is very, very efficient. Now, I do also want to talk about the packaging. So the packaging on these products, I actually like it. They're quite simple, but they feel luxe. So for example, here I have the foundation, and this has like this really kind of like a nudish, pinkish almost packaging to it. It is the tallest from all the ones that come in a stick form. This one here is, which is this? This is the contour stick. So all of the sticks do come looking like this. The foundation, like I said, is taller than the other products, but everything else is about the same. One thing I really love about this packaging is that it has magnetic closures, and I am a huge fan of that. I don't know what it is about magnetic closures like that I can't resist. I really enjoy that. Like, I have fun with it. I love the noise. I just love it. So the foundation is in this shade. This has like its own shade, but this is where I kind of have a little bit of, oh, I wish everything had like different colors, because this is the contour stick. Then we have the highlighting stick. They look exactly the same, so it's really hard to differentiate which is what. And then the blushes are all in the same casings as well. So again, I'm a fan of the casings. I love how simple it is, but they feel luxe because they're weighty, and the closures are also really nice just inside. I think just everything about this looks really pretty. And I also feel like it really represents the brand very well as well. It's luxurious and it looks clean. Now the other products that they have, like their super loaded highlighters, their little lip palette, as well as their matte bronzers, those all come in a compact like this. These are weighty. So these are both black, just the rim here, one of them is silver, the other one is gold. But honestly, I always kind of forget which one they are anyway, so I always have to turn them upside down to read the names. Then there's another super loaded highlighter that has this gold packaging, but then the matte bronzer has this gold packaging as well. Now the actual lip palette is gorgeous. It's the same shape, the same weight, but it's got this beautiful red packaging that I just think is marvelous. All right, so that was a quick little roundup of all of the products and just a few things that I wanted to say again so I don't continue repeating myself throughout the video while I'm demoing these products. So let's just go ahead now and get started. I've been talking without makeup and you guys are probably like, girl, cover that up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I already went ahead and primed my face. I'm using my Hourglass number 28 primer serum. First, what I'm gonna do is go in with the stick highlighter. So this is called Lit Up Highlight Stick. And honestly, this is one of those products that I really do like, but I can take it or leave it. So it's got this really beautiful, like glassy iridescence finish to it. It melts right onto the skin and it adds this kind of like a subtle radiance, but I actually really like it mostly under the foundation. And I apply quite a bit of this. I feel like under the foundation, it pulls through really nicely. And so I do very much enjoy that. And you can probably see at this point, I have like, it's got like that pink iridescence to it, almost even like a blue shift. So it looks really pretty. And then once you apply the foundation, at first it seems like you kind of covered up the entire highlight, but then once the foundation actually starts setting into the skin, you'll see the highlight kind of start pulling through, and it just gives this really beautiful, almost like a natural glow. Like, it's a nice addition, but it's just really not something I need because I typically end up going in with highlighter anyway. But so now we can go on to the foundation, and this is called the Vital Skin Foundation Stick. I have the shade 6. It is a luxurious cream foundation rich in antioxidants and formulated with active ingredients to combat redness, calm irritation, even out complexion, and boost moisture. Molten texture melts into skin for a radiant, natural finish. Your natural skin effortlessly enhanced. I have tested out this foundation without primer, and honestly I didn't care as much for it as when I do apply it. Now, an unfortunate thing about this, and I actually forgot to mention about the highlighter as well, the highlighter only comes in one shade. Now, it is a shade that I feel like is going to work for a pretty good range of skin tones. Now, these foundations only come in 14 shades. They are lacking in the shade range department. So I'm hoping that Westman Atelier, you know, kind of jumps on board as well and they start being more inclusive with their brand. I hope all brands start doing that. Now, this does apply pretty nicely with a makeup sponge as well as a brush, but I actually found that it is best to apply it with your fingers. And I know I'm not really somebody that likes to apply my foundations with my fingers, but you know what? If it looks better that way, I'm gonna give it a go. So I just grabbed a little bit, and this spreads out so easily. It's very smooth, super creamy. And again, you can control the amount of coverage that you're applying, you know, depending as to how much you're picking up at once and how far you spread it. So I'm going to do a quick layer of this. So here's one layer of the foundation, and at this point I feel like this coverage is actually pretty good. It's close to a medium coverage, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up some more and just apply it in the areas that, you know, that need more attention there, where I definitely need to do more covering up. And we can get it to the point where it's almost like a full coverage. Now, because I do have combination skin, my T-zone typically gets oily, and it's no different with this foundation. Throughout the day, I do get, especially around my nose here, I get very oily with this foundation. But once I blot or just do a little bit of touching up, it looks refreshed again. So I don't really have to like actually worry about it. Just blot a little bit and then we're all good. And then again, this is something that you can also kind of just throw into your purse and touch up with this as well. Now, I know a lot of people, and I think Gucci Westman does it as well, use this as a concealer. I've tried it a few times. I've tried it like 3 times. I don't like it. On me, it creases a lot, and it really doesn't give me the coverage I want for my under eyes. I feel like it gets a little bit too sheer, and to build it up, it really starts to crease a lot. So instead, I'm going to use my Uoma Beauty Stay Woke Concealer in the shade Honey Honey T1. And then to brighten a little bit, I'm going to go in with my Kosas Concealer in the shade 5. And I don't believe she has any type of setting powder, so I'm going to use my Chantecaille Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. And just set my concealer and then the T-zone as well. And then for brows, because I'm feeling lazy today, I'm going to go in with my M Cosmetics Espresso Brow Cream. And actually I have a lot of sparseness going on, so I'm going to have to go in with my ABH Brow Wiz in the shade Ebony first. So now I'm going to go in with the contour stick. This is called the Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Biscuit, and it only comes in one shade. So this is described as a cool beige toffee. And like I've been saying, this is also very buildable, which again, I can understand. It can work for a bigger variety of skin tones, but still it's not going to be enough. And it applies, so it literally just glides right on, and it blends really easily as well. I'm actually going to use my finger to blend this, because sometimes when I use a brush for cream contours, especially one that blends so easily, I end up over blending, and so I end up with contour like all over my face instead of just where I need it. Very easy. I love it. I love this shade. It is perfect for my skin tone to create a little bit of that illusion of a more sculpted face. So I do enjoy this a lot. I do want to back up a little bit so you guys can kind of focus on the high points of my cheeks, and you can see now the radiance that's pulling through from that stick highlighter that we used earlier. It's really coming through there, and this is what I'm saying, like, it looks pretty, you just have to give it some time. Same thing with the foundation. I kind of failed to tell you guys that a little bit ago, but with the foundation, typically when I first apply it, especially if I'm using a brush, when I first apply it, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It seems like it wants to start clinging onto my dry patches. It just doesn't wow me. Like, it doesn't look horrible, but it just, I don't know, like, it just is there. But then once I give it some time, it really starts working with my skin as well, and it starts looking a lot nicer, it starts looking a lot healthier, and it starts to kind of give this a little bit of like a luminosity finish as well. So I really enjoy the foundation after maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so I also ended up picking up the powder bronzer. This one is called the Beauty Butter Powder Bronzer in the shade Coup De Soleil. I totally forgot. This is another product that only comes in one shade. And this shade is actually really pretty. It's definitely a warm shade. It leans a little bit towards like a terracotta color, but it does a really nice job at warming up the skin and actually making it seem like you have a natural tan going on. One thing I do have to say though is that I'm not sure if you guys have this, let me know, but there are like a ton of little bumps all over my pan. I just started noticing that last week and I'm not sure why. So let me know if you have this. Is it doing the same thing? Like, should I not be using it? Like, it doesn't smell funky. Like, there's a smell, but like, to me, it almost smells like clean makeup. I mean, like, if that has a scent, that's kind of the vibe that I get. But look at this bronzer. It pretty much has like the same features as other cream products we've been using. Very easy to blend, easy to work with. No fuss, a really nice color, and it can be buildable as well. And so it gives a really nice bronzy look. I do like this a lot. I'm happy with it. Those little bumps though are concerning me. That's just weird. The next few products we're going to work with are the super loaded highlighters. I have all 3 shades, but I use all 3 of them differently. So the first one we're going to go with is the shade Peau De Soleil, and this is how it looks. This one is described as a warm bronze gold. And I actually like to use this one as a bronzer topper. It works really well on its own as well, but because I'm trying to show you guys as many products as I possibly can in today's video, and I think we're going to practically use everything that I do have from this brand today, I am going to go ahead and use it as a topper, but I like it both ways. Again, on its own or applied over my bronzer, just to add that luminosity. Since I do have all 3 of these shades, we're gonna end up with a really luminous face today. So I'm just gonna pretty much tap it over the bronzer that we just applied. I wanna be careful not to add too much because I have the tendency of just going overboard with these. I hope you guys are able to see that. It adds a really beautiful glow. By the way, this is the only Westman Atelier brush that I have. This is the blender brush, I believe. Yeah, the blender brush. I'll give you guys a little review on the brush later. But see, that looks really pretty. And again, alone, I really enjoy this one as well. So the next super loaded tinted highlighter I'm going to use is Peau De Pêche. And this is described as a soft pearlized bronze suede. So this is actually my favorite one out of the 3, and I like to use this one as an actual highlighter. So on the pan, it actually looks quite dark. When you first open it up, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna work for me. So this I'm gonna use with my finger. A lot of these products I do like to use with my finger. It just makes it a little bit easier. I'm gonna put this on the high points of my cheeks. And look at that glow. I really like this shade. really only a little bit is needed. I also find that these actually work quite well over powder. You might have to just pay a little bit extra attention on the edges. So with your finger, kind of warm up that area just by tapping, and then it'll just kind of melt right in. So it doesn't look patchy at all. It looks really nice. Alright, so now for the blushes. These come in the stick form and they're called the Baby Cheeks Blush Sticks. I have the shade Petal. It is described as a dusty nude rose. I feel like this is probably like the most safest shade to go with. It's one that's going to work with a lot of skin tones, and it's also going to work with a lot of makeup looks. So if you're unsure but you really want to try out this formula and you like, you know, more like neutral or mauve blushes, this one's a really pretty one. Then the other one that I have is called Poppet, and this is a poppy pink. It's a very bright color. It looks very intimidating, but it's actually quite gorgeous. You can apply it very lightly for a sheer pop of color or add more intensity if you like really bright cheeks. I actually think this shade does a great job at brightening up your appearance and making you look more youthful, and I just love it. I actually got this when Gucci Westman was saying that Jennifer Aniston is obsessed with this blush, so I said, then I guess I have to have it as well. Now, I really wanted to use that one today, but again, because of the other products I'm going to be using, it'll be safer to use Petal, so that's what I'm going to go in with. And again, I'm just going to grab it directly from the stick with my fingers and then just start working it in. Tapping motions. I think I'll stop here. I typically would go in a lot more. I get kind of ridiculous with my brush sometimes. I mean, I always say brush with my blush, but if we need more later, we can always add some more. The next super loaded tinted highlighter we're going to use, I'm going to use it as a blush topper. So this last one is the newest of the three. It is called Peau De Rose or Peau De Rose. It is described as a soft, warm rose. I really like what this does to my cheeks. It adds so much radiance, so much luminosity. Oh my gosh, I think it is so beautiful. But this is for sure one of those products that you don't need. It's definitely one of those, like, it's an addition. So if you want to be a little bit extra, something like this is always nice to add. I do though have to say that because these are quite, like, they're not super metallic-y, but a little bit more on the intense side, of course, depending on how much you apply, they do sometimes emphasize texture. So going back with the blender brush, I'm going to pick some up here. And because I have a lot of texture right here, I have bigger pores towards the center of my face. I'm going to try to avoid that area with this. But it looks really pretty. I'm just not trying to look, you know, ridiculous. I'm just going to apply it back here just to show you guys what this does. It adds some pigment as well. I feel like some people, you know, if you have fair to light skin tone, you can actually use this as a blush maybe. I think more so if you have a fair skin tone. But otherwise, you can use it as a highlighter or as a blush topper. I don't really like it as a highlighter. I feel like it's a little bit too pink. Sometimes I like pink highlight, but for the most part, not so much. So this is how I would use it. But look at that face. How glossy does it look? I really like this. Honestly, I would not apply all of these highlighters at the same time like I'm doing today. This is strictly for demonstration purposes, but it does look pretty. I mean, it's just a little bit too much for me, but it does look pretty. All right, so we're finally done with the face. That was a lot that we just put on. So let's move on to the eyes. I'm gonna apply my Fenty Beauty Eye Primer. This is called the Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. And for the eye pods we're going to use next, I definitely recommend an eye primer. I've tried it without and they crease pretty bad and pretty quickly. Alright, so here are the eye pads. Now, this is actually the newest released for the brand. They came out with 2 sets of 3. I really do wish that they sold these separately so I can just select the colors that I want instead of just having to buy them in sets. I was going back and forth on which one to get, but I felt like this one was going to give me a little bit more color payoff and I was going to be able to test it out a little bit better and really get to know the product and see what it actually does and how it wears a little bit better because they are darker tones. So the other set that she released, I cannot remember the name of it. It's in French anyway. I'm going to butcher the name anyway, but that one's more geared for a more natural kind of a day look, whereas this one's geared for a night look. So the set is called Les Nuits. And you get 3 different shades. There's champagne. This gives you a hint of brightness. There's also some iridescence to it. We have the shade Vin Rouge, and this is almost like a reddish color, but do not be fooled by what you see on the little pot. These apply quite sheer. You can build them up, but at the same time, they still maintain to be sheer somehow. And then the last shade is Noir, so this is a black color, same as the previous shade. Very sheer, it can be buildable, but I feel like you're limited as to how buildable these can get. Every time I use this, I feel differently about it because I understand the concept behind this. Just like everything else, it's supposed to be very user-friendly, easy to apply, easy for somebody that's in a rush, on the go, someone that doesn't like spending too much time doing their makeup. For the people that like more of a natural look, these colors are going to give you a smoky look, but it's just not as smoky, as deep, as risky as if you were using like actual powder shades in this. These have like that velvet cream to powder formula. You have to build it up if you want more pigment, but I feel like there's definitely a limit as to how much you can build it up. They do blend really easily, and actually I think also because of like the sheerness that they have, like at times, and maybe depending on how I use them, because I have tried to create different looks while using all 3 of the shades, so it's always some type of smoky eye look. You know, they're always very similar to each other. I mean, I am only working with 3 shades, but it kind of also leaves a luminous look to the lids, again, depending on how I play with these shades. You can apply these with your fingers. I am not though a fan as to how deep in you kind of have to go in with your finger. I do have long nails. I mean, they're not super long, but they're still quite long where I have to be really careful on how I pick this up. So I have been using eye brushes with this. So first I'm gonna go in with this shade called Champagne. I'm just going to apply this in the inner corner. Then whatever's left, I'm going to add here to my brow bone. So wait, actually, I have to talk about the packaging of this because I do actually really enjoy this. I feel like they're very tiny, but I like that they're stackable like this. So they're magnetic. The actual closure is not. So this is just a twist on, and you want to make sure you hear the little click. Do you hear that? That right there. All right, so the next shade I'm going to go in with is Vin Rouge, and I'm going to use my BK Beauty 202 brush. I'm just going to dig in there. Like I said, I kind of feel like I have to go in there pretty aggressively to pick up a pretty good amount. I'm just going to start applying this all over the lid, and I'm going to take it into and above my crease as well. So that looks pretty. See, every day I wear this, it's like yesterday I hated it. So it really just, I feel like I'm limited with how I can use this. So I have to like obviously have a real specific look as to what I want with this. I don't like the champagne all over my lid. It does not flatter me at all. That I actually haven't tried. But that can look quite nice because of how sheer it can be. I also find that at first I like the pigment, but after maybe even just like 2 or 3 hours, it starts to wear off a little bit. Actually, let me pick up a little bit more. Just try to pick it up with just the tip of this brush so I can run it on the bottom lash line as well. Now for the black shade, I like to use a pencil brush or a flat definer brush like this one. Pick some of this up and then apply it as eyeliner. When I go in with a pencil brush, because it is rounder, it applies a thicker line, but it makes it extra smoky, so I do like that as well. But today I'm just gonna add a thinner line just across my lash line to define my eyes more. Alright, so for mascara, Westman Atelier does have one available. I think it's just one. They might have a few. But there's one that they have. The packaging is so beautiful. However, I've already spent an arm and a leg on my Chantecaille mascara, so we're going to use this. I'm not allowing myself to buy another bougie mascara until I'm done with this one. And I still have a long way to go with this. So I'm going to apply this real quick and then we'll be right back to do the lips. Alright, so for lips, we're going to use the Lip Suede palette. And this is in the shade Les Rouges. It is housed in this beautiful bright lacquered compact. There are 4 different shades in here. We get a fuchsia, brick, tomato red, and a warm dusty rose. These I have tested out as well. I actually had on the pink one earlier today, and probably can't tell as much right now, but when I started my video, I could not remove the stain it left on my lips. So for sure, this fuchsia shade and the red shade leave a stain on your lips. I feel like this brick shade, a little bit, not so much though, and definitely not this bottom kind of like rosy mauve shade. But they are quite long lasting. I really like this bottom shade a lot. I was quite surprised by that. I wasn't really expecting that color. And now I'm thinking, so I think for this look, I'm going to use these 2 shades. So we're going in with the brick shade and then this mauve shade down here as well. With a pencil brush, this is my Real Techniques brush, I'm going to pick up that, oh, I don't know if I should have done this one first. Oh well, I already picked it up. I'm going to use the brick shade to kind of line my lips and blend in the color as well. Wipe off my brush here, and then we'll pick up this bottom shade. I'll apply this on the center and blend it into the red. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, I really like that. So overall, I think this palette is really pretty. Obviously, I love the packaging. I really like the shades that are in here. I like the formula. I love the wear of it as well. But I don't feel like this is something ideal to have. Like, it's good and all when you're sitting in your vanity and you have your lip brushes. Otherwise, you'll need to get like a portable lip brush, one that has like a cap to it, because these strips are quite thin. And although I'm able to mostly just focus on one shade, especially these 2 middle ones, it's a little bit easier to pick those up. I still end up with a little bit of another one of the shades. So I don't necessarily get just the shade that I'm looking to apply. I get a little bit of something else as well. And then the bottom and top shades, because that portion is smaller, it's a lot more difficult to go in and just, you know, apply these with your fingers. So you definitely, unless you have really small fingers, I think you definitely need a brush for this. So because of that, I don't really feel like this is worth it, but I really do like it. I feel like this is actually something that I'm going to keep up here. Real quick about the blender brush. This I regret buying. I don't know what it is about it that I'm just not feeling it. It is made in Japan. It has nylon fibers, but I don't know, it just does not do it for me. It's definitely not a brush that I would tell anybody that like to go out and get. I am huge on brushes. I love collecting makeup brushes, and I have real quickly, I'm going to tell you guys my top 2 products and then my bottom 2 products. Everything else kind of falls in the middle. So the top products for me are, for sure, it's got to be the foundation. Actually, I'm probably going to name 3 top things because I don't think I can decide. So for sure, it's the foundation. I really like how this looks. It's got a decent wear time. I love that we can build the coverage on this, and I like the formula, and I just really enjoy it. So the other product will be the contour stick. I just love this. I don't really have, I'm trying to think. I don't have an actual contour stick in this shade. So for me, this is a really nice addition to my collection because I don't have anything quite like this. I really enjoy how easy it is to apply and use. I feel like a lot of people get a little bit intimidated when it comes to contour sticks, and it's just, again, just very easy to use and work with. And then lastly is the Super Loaded Tinted Highlighter in the shade Peau De Pêche. I just love, love, love this. I actually like to use this on a bigger portion of my face. Today I only focused the shade here on the top part of my cheekbones just because we were using all this other stuff. But I like to go in wider with it because it just adds a beautiful glow to the skin. I really love this. Again, you do have to be careful if you're dealing with a lot of texture because it can emphasize that. So don't apply too much, but I think this is gorgeous. So for sure, those are the 3 things that I would hands down recommend to anybody. So for my bottom 2, for sure the iPods. Look, this look looks nice. It is a very wearable, friendly, smoky eye look. I do like it, but for the price of this, and mind you, I spend money on makeup. Like, I love having luxury makeup. I love having a big collection. I mean, it's clearly my thing. So it doesn't always hurt me to spend the money if I know I'm going to love a product. And I really thought I was going to love these a lot more. But honestly, I find them kind of frustrating. Like I said, I feel like I'm very limited as to how I can use these. And I hate that they came in a set. I wish they came separately. I'm just not a fan of this. Like right now, it still looks pretty good, but I know that in a few hours, the intensity is not going to be as intense as it is. It's definitely going to be toned down quite a bit, and I just don't think it's worth it. I do think though that these are really good to travel with, so I feel like I'll find a purpose for this, but honestly, if I had tried them before purchasing them, I would have never purchased them. So there you have it. And then I just talked about the brush. I just don't like it. Nah. Alright guys, that's it as far as today's video. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today and sticking through the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot and I really do appreciate it, you guys. And also, do not forget to subscribe in case you haven't so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you again. I will see you next time.